All right, this is Dan Meehan for Fight News Australia, and today we have Diego Pereira, who is now taking on Rod Costa at a catchweight at Eternal MMA 63 on November 20th, following the unfortunate withdrawal of Shaun Etchell due to injury. Diego, how are you?
I'm doing great, man. How are you?
Very good. Thanks for stopping by once again.
No problem, bro.
Diego, I always like to start with this when I interview someone for the first time, but are you able to tell us a little bit about your background and sort of your path from Brazil to Australia?
Ooh, broad question. I feel like I'm getting better at answering it each time somebody asks me, though, so I'll try to be as brief as possible, because obviously it's somebody's history. It's not as easy to condense it into, short little bites. But, man, I moved to Australia when I was 16. I arrived here around January, and my birthday is around April, so I was 16 to turn 17. And I came here to work. My uncle moved here first to work in the meatworks. At the time, this is going back 15 odd years. And at the time, Australia was in need of a lot of skilled workers in the area. And my uncle was doing that job in Brazil. And so he got the opportunity to come. So he was sponsored. He came. Shortly after, he brought my brother over as a dependent child. And then a couple of years later, I came, same way. And shortly after that, we all started working at the company. And long story short, at 19, I sort of, while 3-4 years working at this company, I was working with a friend of mine, another Brazilian guy, and he was telling me about mixed martial arts and Anderson Silva, whom at the time was still dominating the scene. And I didn't know anything about it back then. And I was 19, working this job that I didn't really like, sort of lost, and just doing some regular gym work, but not really chasing anything, no dreams, ambitions, nothing like that. And when he started telling me about this, I got intrigued. And so that night, I used to work night shifts. I got home and started researching, and I got hooked. And the martial art attracted me, and I wanted to learn something new. So I started looking for gyms around me and some schedules that suited me. And it started from there, man. I started practicing BJJ and Muay Thai straight off the bat. The first gym I found. A month after that, I kind of bounced back and forth between some other gyms. And until finally, after a year within the sport, I think I found Southside Mixed Martial Arts, whom I'm still with to this day. So, yeah, that's a brief background.
Beautiful. Appreciate that. And at what point did you sort of decide that MMA was like a career path that you wanted to go down?
That's a good question. I think, being like growing up in Brazil, I was always very, very active. Growing up on the streets and growing up tough. You were always active, always out on the street playing games and playing football, chasing little activities here and there, doing whatever your friends were doing, things like that. So my father was a capoeira master. Are you familiar with capoeira?
Yeah, loosely, yeah.
That is the traditional Brazilian martial art that dates, centuries ago. And anyway, my dad did that for a long, long time. And so, unfortunately, though, by the time we were old enough, he, had done it for so long. He suffered injuries and stuff. He could no longer teach us. He had a back injury or whatever, but he did do that. So we were aware of it. And in Brazil, they also had, where I come from, they had these little social projects to keep kids off the streets. And they offered martial arts and different things. And one of them was capoeira. And so I did a bit of that. I did capoeira. I did a bit of kung fu. I did ballet. I played soccer. I was very, very active. I, competed in kung fu, did some tournaments here and there, did the odd martial art, judo, things like that. So I was very, very active. So I knew athletically, I was, I guess, very, very talented, but never really did anything with that whilst in Brazil until I started training here. And so after doing it for a little bit, learning some skills here, I was like, I want to test my skills and see what's up and things like that. So once you get in there, you get a taste for what it feels like. And then once you kind of deal with that, you like how you feel, etc. I enjoyed the experience. I enjoyed the challenges. I enjoyed the nature of testing myself on a daily, going into the gym, learning something new every day, getting to kind of test myself in the gym on a daily, but then also getting that fire and desire to want to test my skills against somebody else who is also trained from a different gym or whatever. And so that's where amateur tournaments come in. That's where BJJ competitions come in and things like that. So slowly, I like to use like a video game analogy. It's like when you play a game that you got to go through stages. It's like you start at level 1, you're not very experienced, you're not very strong, you're not very fast, things like that. So as you face those challenges that come in front of you, you become a little better as you overcome it. And with that experience, you become more knowledgeable, etc., and you become better at dealing with subsequent challenges. And so as I was learning more skills, I was becoming more knowledgeable, more confident, more disciplined, things like that. So I wanted to test my skills. And with that, I was also developing as a human being, obviously, still am, and learning discipline, etc. That helped on other areas of my life, financially, relationships, and overall just understanding and getting better at dealing with all those other aspects of life. So after, I think, 3 years or 4 years within the sport, that's where I decided I wanted to pursue it as a career, because I was doing that job. I hated it, and I felt like I really had a notch for this thing. And so my uncle, whom I'm very, very fortunate to have in my life, the one who brought me here, he brought me and my brother over. His name is Miguel. He brought us over. He has always been a tremendous influence in my life. And, from the moment, like growing up in Brazil, he was always like there, present, and helped us develop as man, imparted knowledge upon us, all of that, and then helped us come over here, changed our lives, and he kind of saw what I was pursuing within the martial art, and he realized, hey, if you really want to do this, let's develop a plan. I'm going to try to support you as much as I can so that you can quit the job, so you can start dedicating more of your time towards getting better at the sport. And so that's what happened. Him and his wife, Elaine, they together supported me in the early stages, and I was able to kind of get on my feet. And then slowly after that, I started getting odd casual gigs here and there to kind of support myself as well. And that's basically how it went, man. I was the desire of me wanting to test myself, the new skills that I was acquiring. And then later people giving me social validation and saying, hey, man, you're pretty good at this, or things like that, and me wanting, hey, pretty young still, and people motivating me, saying, maybe you could do this. Maybe this is something you could do. Look at you. Like, you're a skinny black kid as well from Brazil. Look at Anderson Silva, skinny black kid, kicking people's ass. He's a world champion. That could be you. So I had that vision and I had that dream, and I've been chasing it since.
Beautiful. And you in MMA full time now?
That's it. That's what I do. I do MMA. I mean, I still work odd gigs in there. I am a casual warehouse manager. I work a few hours a week doing that, but most of what I do revolves around training. I coach BJJ every single day. I take private lessons. Just compete and train and teach privates, teach classes, and work the odd jobs here and there.
Yep. And last time you competed, speaking of competition, it was at Eternal 61. You took on Abdullah El Tagani, one with a heel hook. How do you sort of look back on that fight?
I look back on that fight with very fond memories, because it was a challenge. It was a challenge going into that fight because we had been out for 18 months, through postponements and cancellations and injuries and things like that. And to finally get in there and compete and put out the performance that we put out against a very difficult task that we had in front of us, it was a positive. And so every time I look back at it, I am very proud of the work we accomplished as a team, myself, my teammates, my coaches, my family, my friends, everybody that was riding with me, helping me through the difficult times, the period of injuries and coming off a loss and things like that, just constantly motivating me. And when I finally got in there and got it done the way I did, how I did it, you know, was bittersweet, because I visualized it exactly how it was going to go down. And we performed to our abilities. And I'm very, very proud, because it was a challenging task we had, and we completed it with flying colors, I think.
Yeah, and post-fight, you called out Shaun Etchell, and obviously, looking down your record, you've campaigned for the most part at featherweight. Yeah, how come Shaun Etchell, being the bantamweight champion, how come Shaun was on your radar?
So you're right. Most of the career has been at featherweight, but if you look back, I've been sort of bouncing back and forth between bantamweight and featherweight. I've had a couple big wins at Eternal at bantamweight, a couple big wins at featherweight, so bouncing back and forth. And it's just easier to make feather, you know. So I was like, hey man, I'm just gonna compete here. It's easy, it's comfortable, it's whatever. But also as a competitor and seeing the game evolve and understanding the marketing side of things, and seeing guys such as Conor McGregor come into the scene and just explode, take home one belt and then call out the next, go up, become champion. And he just started this whole trend, really, of guys wanting to become double champion, triple champion, and just want to challenge up, go down, go up. Because why not? You know, we're entertainers, we're competitors. If you believe you're the best at one division, if you go up, if you can go down, you could be the best there too. So I truly believe I'm the best guy in Australia, in New Zealand, within the featherweight and bantamweight division. And I might even go up and challenge the lightweight champ, you know, eventually. If, you know, the UFC or none of these guys give me a shot before then. But that's been my goal ever since I really committed to it, to become double champion. And when I had the shot at competing for the featherweight championship, my goal was to get that title, then go down and challenge the bantamweight champion for that champ status. That didn't materialize. So then Eternal put on a bantamweight tournament, because the bantamweight championship was vacant around January this year. And Shaun Etchell was in it, myself, I believe Sam Hibbard, and a couple other guys that kind of fell through in and out, whatever. So that tournament didn't end up happening because of cancellations, COVID, and things like that. I got injured afterwards. So the whole tournament didn't end up going ahead. So they made a matchup for the belt with the guys that were, I guess, available at the time. Hibbard gets the belt first, and then I was injured. I couldn't do anything. So because Shaun was available, he was in the tournament, they kind of honored him by giving him the shot. And he was fortunate enough, performed and got the title. And so I feel like we have history there, you know, and because I'm already been gunning for a championship at any level. I am up there. It's like, who else am I going to fight? You know what I'm saying? I was a featherweight. I competed for the title, competed again, got in the tournament, was going to compete for that championship that was vacant. Couldn't do it. You know, I came back, got a impressive win, impressive performance. I called my shot, and I got it. That's basically it, you know.
So was that with a view to sort of collecting the bantamweight title, and sort of maybe chasing a Jack Jenkins rematch for the featherweight title, or is bantamweight sort of going to be your home for a little while first?
You hit that one on the head, bro. So like I said, originally the plan was, hey, I'm going to capture this featherweight title. I'm going to go down, capture the bantamweight title. Now I'm doing it in reverse. And like I called my shot back at 6'1", I'm going to call my shot at 6'3". When I'm holding that bantamweight belt up, Jack Jenkins' ear is going to be ringing, and I hope his phone rings too, and he answers it, because that's what's coming next.
There you go. You heard it here first. So, how much of a stretch is it for you to get down to bantamweight?
It's the average. You know, I walk around like if we're talking pounds, like 150 pounds, 155, something like that. That's around like 70 kilos or whatever, So not too huge of a stretch. So you can see how it's pretty easy for me to make feather from 70 to 6'6", 6'5". I'm relatively small for that featherweight division, but because I'm so skilled, so gifted athletically, I can't compete with those guys. So it made sense for me to go down to Benham, but I'll be going back and forth between the two, And I believe once I get this Bantamweight championship, I'm gonna do it so well that it's gonna be undeniable, and we will be on our way towards maybe a Contender Series shot or something like that. If not, that featherweight belt is next. Once we capture that, there's no way they won't deny us. You know what I'm saying? So after that, we'll probably be heading towards international events, things like that. But by mid-year next year, close to the end of the year next year, you'll be seeing us in the Contender Series or in the UFC for sure.
There you go. And of course, the first step in that plan, Shaun Etchell. So how do you actually view the stylistic matchup between you two?
I like it. I really do, because Shaun is a strong competitor. He's been around the game for a long time. He's a former flyweight champion at Eternal, now the bantamweight champion. The kid's good. The kid is scrappy. He's aggressive. He goes out there. He's not afraid to take one, to give one. He's a bit of a brawler. But I'm not concerned with Shaun Etchell, to be honest. Like, everything about this matchup favors me, I feel. He try to, what is he gonna do? He try to put the pressure on me. He try to, I believe everywhere this fight goes, I'll outshine this guy. And that's what I'm gonna be looking to do. Take my time with him, because I want to make it look, because we got 5 rounds. I'm not gonna rush this, because I don't want to end him quickly, because then there may leave a question mark there, like, oh, what if he hadn't done and finished him quickly? What if Shaun could have put that base on him? What if Shaun could have done this? What if Shaun could have done that? I want to take my time with him, pick him apart so much that everywhere this fight goes, I'm just going to outshine this guy, and people are going to go, fuck. There's no doubt. Diego determined that outcome without a doubt. Hashtag and new.
So, of course, as we mentioned, we have a new matchup to talk about this time in Rod Costa, and he probably couldn't be much more different to Shaun Etchell, really, on paper. So, yeah, how do you view this one?
Yeah, to me, it's no different, to be honest. My mindset, the approach is the same. The only difference is it's going to be a different face in front of me on Saturday night, November 20th, with the changes that the difference is the rounds are shorter. We were going to do 5 5s, but now we're going to do 3 5s, like we've done previously. So doesn't change a whole lot. My approach is the same, because we're not training for Shaun Etchell. We're never training for anyone in particular. We're training to improve as an MMA fighter, and that's what we do daily. And so with that mindset, I feel I can take on anybody anytime. So when they said, hey, Shaun is out, do you want to sit out and wait for him? You still have your shot, or do you want to compete? And we'll try to find you a replacement as quickly as we can. I had no hesitation from you. And I was so pissed when my manager called me with the news that Shaun had unfortunately injured himself and had to pull out. I was like, fuck, find me somebody else, bro. I'm ready. I've been training for 8 weeks. I need to compete. I gotta compete. That's what I want to do. So they found somebody. I'm happy, ready to roll.
Yep. So do you not train for any sort of particular stylistic matchup normally?
Not really. Look, we know that there are specialists out there, but this game is mixed martial arts. That's the game we play. And that's the sport I practice daily. I practice this sports individually, but we also practice the sports all together. So that's where we do MMA. So yes, I do understand, where people's strengths and weaknesses lie, and sort of sometimes we will game plan around that to try to exploit those. But like I said, I'm a mixed martial artist. I'm improving and training daily to improve those skills. And that's the mindset that I have. So no matter who I'm facing, I am going to use mixed martial arts to defeat them. And I go in looking to impose my will and utilize the skills that I have honed over the years and continue to do every day to compete against anybody. So no matter who's standing across from me, whether they're a specialist, whether they're world champion in whatever, when it comes to MMA, I believe I'm the best around. So no matter who, when, short notice, 8 weeks, full camp, short camp, half camp, quarter camp, I'm ready. So let's go.
So with you've obviously only got a week or so to really work now, but does anything change preparation wise between now and fight night? Is there anything that you can do to sort of change it up for a new opponent?
No. Like I said, man, like we've been training all facets of MMA. So the opponent change in 2 weeks notice, it's not gonna like, what are we gonna do? Oh, ooh, the opponent changed. We gotta now switch up everything we've done. Let's try to work this now to address X. No, we've been training every facets of mixed martial arts for a long time now. I'm a world-class athlete with, I believe, super well-rounded skills from day one. That's what my focus was. I do jiu-jitsu, I do wrestling, I do cage grappling, I do kickboxing, I do boxing. I know how to strike, I know how to counter strike, I know how to wrestle, I know how to counter wrestle, I know how to judo, I know all the aspects of mixed martial arts. So I know the opponent I have in front of me. I know what I need to do to get it done, and I'm just gonna get in there and get it done. And like I believe I'm gonna be too much for him. I have too many weapons with which to do it, to get the job done. And I believe when it comes down to fight IQ, that's gonna show as well. So my mixed martial arts skills will be at full display. Trust me.
Yeah. And what's the agreed catch weight on this one?
64.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah.
And does the opponent switch sort of put any dents in your bantamweight title aspirations? You sort of mentioned when we spoke last that you were looking at sort of trying to get to the champ status, I guess. So will you still be chasing that bantamweight belt? Like, will you? I'm told that Shaun should be ready around February. So will you be sort of waiting for him come February, or will you sort of move up to featherweight?
Listen, whatever happens after this, this is again just another matchup. I'm gonna go out there and compete, get my hands raised, and acquire more experience. And Shaun Etchell is still gonna get what's coming for him. He's just delayed it by a few short months. You know what I'm saying? My goal remains the same. I will still be chasing that. And I'm in no competition with any of these guys. I'm in competition with myself. So whether it's Shaun, whether it's somebody else, if Shaun comes back early and he's able to defend, I'm gonna beat him, compete against him, and then take the belt. If he can't make another match, I'm gonna verse somebody, and so on, and we move with the game. So my goals are set for myself as a benchmark for myself. So I'm in no competition with nobody. If Shaun is healthy in March or February or whenever he comes back, I'll be the guy to put a stamp on that division and take it from him, like I was going to next weekend. So like I said, he's just delayed it by a couple months, a few months or whatever. So.
And what's the training room like at Southside these days?
It's amazing. We're growing from strength to strength. We've got new faces coming in all the time. We've got like 40 plus people in the room at any one time for MMA practice. We range from beginners to intermediate to advanced, all shapes and sizes, primarily within the 70 to 77 weight range, like 60 plus. So it's very, very good because it's my body shape and size, and all kinds of skill level too, BJJ, black belts, brown belts, purple belts, wrestlers, kickboxers, world champions. We cross train a lot with different gyms. We go to CMBT quite a bit. We exchange some leather with those guys in Love. Those guys have been very, very good to us as well. So we've been exchanging some knowledge every now and then. So whenever, because Brenting and I, like Brenting has headlining this show, Brenton Mumford. And him and I, we've gone back and forth sort of cross training with each other. And sometimes they come to us. Every now and then we go there, sort of spar and cross train. And that's been really, really good. And I believe we all have been taking a lot from it. But as far as self side goes, man, we are very, very strong on our own. And I believe, you know, we have always been within the state of Queensland, you know, my opinion, the best. But within the coming years, you're going to see us grow even more and become the best in the country, and the world is going to be knowing about us for sure.
Yep, and I saw on social media that you may have had a move around with Alexander Volkanovski recently. Can you tell us a little bit about that experience?
It was good, man. Volk is a very cool dude. It's cool to, I was actually speaking to someone about this yesterday, and they asked me the same question, and they were like, what was it like to train with somebody at his level? It's like, it was not new to train with somebody at that level, because I had been overseas before. I've trained with the likes of John Jones, Holly Holm. I've trained with the likes of all those guys, John Dodson, Diego Brandao, like high level guys, as well as at the level of Volkanovski. So it was just cool for me to kind of see how down to earth he is, because the guy, like, I think he came down here to put on a seminar at CMBT, and we went over there for sparring and stuff. And I think I was my last sparring. I was making my boxing pro debut, like a week notice. Just decided, man, I just want to fight, and I couldn't get a fight, and I had been out for a while. I was like, I just want to fight. Let's take this fight. So I went there and did some rounds with him, and he, shared some knowledge with me, and it was pretty cool. Very cool dude, and it was cool to see the energy that he had. And this was, I think he was already preparing for the Ortega fight. This was before the first case of him having to cancel because of COVID or whatever. But I could already tell the level of intensity, the mindset and things like that. So it's cool to see. It's cool to see and train with those guys and go, yeah, I'm definitely on the right track. So it's a good indicator, to tell you, hey, keep going. And he's a very, very cool dude.
Yep, and sounds like you might have trained at Jackson Wink there. Perhaps is cross training overseas something that's sort of, obviously once the world international travel is back on the agenda, but is cross training overseas something that's in the future for you?
Possibly, yeah, possibly. I'm not at the moment. I'm not looking at that. I've been to a few different gyms. I've been to Novo União before, where they were on top. Jose Aldo, Renan Barral, and Claudia Gadelha, they were all together there. I went there, spent some time there. And then I went to the US, trained at Jackson Wink, and spent months there at a time. Did 3 or 4 times there. That I made a lot of growth doing that. But right now I'm just focusing on growing my home gym, self side, and elevating my own guys. And because we have a lot of hungry up and comers, and a lot of talent, and I want to help elevate them as well, like they have helped elevate me. So but one of my goals is to go to City Kickboxing to get some training over there, because it's right there in Zid, and I've got I know some guys there. My coach, Uncle Des, is basically from the same lineage as Eugene Behrman, Desanya's coach. So they have similar styles, and my coach has already basically set it up with one of the guys he knows there that is within the gym. And he said, man, whenever he's ready, just send him through. We'll take care of him. So I think I'll probably hit City Kickboxing next whenever the world opens up. But right now I'm just focusing on my home gym.
Yeah, and sort of in the longer term, I guess you sort of know that you've got a short-term plan to make it onto the Contender Series or onto the UFC roster. So what's the ultimate goal in MMA? Like, where do you want to get to when all is said and done?
Man, I just want to be the best I can be. I think Joe Rogan put it best. He says, martial arts is a vehicle to develop human potential. And when I heard that, it made so much sense to me, because through the years of training and struggle, facing adversity, having success, going through the ups and downs of this journey, I have made so much growth personally, like emotionally, through relationships, and making better decisions, and deciding, like, I even decided to go back to school and finish school. Like, I didn't finish school in Brazil, but like through it all, I feel like because of the discipline and the work and the energy that the growth you make through martial arts, that in turn affects other areas of your life and makes you better. And you can apply the same concepts and the same disciplinary work ethic that you do through training in other areas of your life. And I've been so fortunate, and I've done so many things, and I still so young, and I feel like through martial arts I can just keep growing and getting better. And I love this. I love the lifestyle. This is what I do. I love the people that I get to see, hang out with every single day, the people that I get to influence through the martial art, the students that I have, the skills I get to share, the conversations, the energy. So I'm gonna keep doing this probably for life. But as far as competition, I'm just looking to take it to the world stage, and obviously that's the UFC. I'm trying to kick the door down and announce myself to the world. And I'm going to chase the championship over there. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to chase the championship over there because I'm a world-class athlete. I truly believe that. And as of, the last couple of years, everything has come together. The physical, the mental, the skills, everything is one. And I truly believe I'm a world-class athlete, and I can compete with anybody in the world. So when I get in the UFC, I'm going to chase that championship, and I'm going to keep doing that until, I'm a Glover Teixeira or not. You know what I'm saying? 42 champion, who knows? But it's that kind of pursuit that I'm aiming towards, just living the life, enjoying day by day, developing, growing, staying on that constant growth path, always learning, always developing, influencing others positively, and just take it as far as I can take it, man. That's it.
Beautiful. And of course, circling back to Eternal, the main event at Eternal 63 is the lightweight title between Jack Becker and Brenton Mumford. Obviously, you have a connection to Brenton Mumford, but what's your prediction for the main event?
Man, I'm very excited about that main event. Very excited about that main event. I think Brenton is going to knock out Becker. Brenton has been looking like a freaking man possessed. And since that last one where, again, we were cross-training prior to him not being able to cross the border to come and compete. So I know how devastated he must have felt because he was training so hard and we were training together. I felt his energy. I knew he was very, very ready. And fortunately, he had a little bit of an injury there before as well. So I think this time kind of helped him to heal. And he's looking very, very good. And with the experience that he has, the people he's training with, the mindset that he has, I have no doubt that Brenton is gonna get this one done. And I see it being a scrap. Definitely. I think Brenton primarily being a striker, super elusive, and sharp, and Becker with that aggressive grappling heavy style and awkward striking. We might see a striker versus grappler matchup here, but from what we saw from Becker last time, who knows, right? He surprised everyone by knocking out Dan Hill. But I am strong, very, very high on Brenton Mumford, and I think he's going to get this one done by TKO.
Perfect. Well, Diego, before I let you go, do you have any sponsors or anyone you'd like to shout out? I'll hand the reins over to you.
Well, thank you for that. I appreciate the opportunity, man. Look, nothing that we do is done by our own efforts, right? Like one of my sponsors, TrainAid, shout out to TrainAid. The hydration has been paramount in helping me recover, particularly on a daily basis, but particularly after weigh-ins. Shout out to my guy, the fight dietitian, Jordan Sullivan, whom developed together with my manager, Dean Barnes. 110 athletes developed TrainAid. Them too, man, they've been helping me a lot. And TikTok Nutrition, supporting me for years now, preparing my meals daily basis. I don't even have to worry about it. I cannot thank those guys enough. TikTok Nutrition is huge. I also have my physiotherapist, movement and performance therapy. That guy has helped me, get over some pretty gnarly injuries and some some niggles here and there on a daily basis. So he's been very, very good to me. Movement performance therapy. Hooks brand provides me with some clothing and things, no-gi and jiu-jitsu related. They've been very, very good to me as well. Some quality stuff. So I'm very, very thankful for them. Shout out to my strength and conditioning coach, Coach Mir Auni. He is over there in Sydney. He runs Ethos Performance. He works with highest level athletes in the country and worldwide, man, really boxers, kickboxers, jiu-jitsu athletes, the likes of Tyson Pedro, the likes of Bam Bam Tuivasa, and many, many more. So I'm very, very grateful. And ever since working with him for the past 3 odd years or whatever, I've made tremendous growth. It's funny, like I was at the gym earlier and was going over one of my workouts that Coach Mir put together for me. And it's kind of annoying because I'm in such a great shape right now. I've always been, but I'm such in great shape that I have to work twice as hard to get the same results, because like we're working towards maintaining the heart rate at a specific range. And before I had to do X amount of work and I would get it there, but now it's like I'm in such great shape. I have to work twice as hard because the heart rate won't go up. I'm just in amazing shape. So, and that's obviously thankful to my coach Mir Auni, because his programs are amazing. Man, I am sorry if I'm forgetting somebody, but those are the main guys. And again, my coaches, Paul Stolier, Uncle Des, shout out to Pops, who's there every single day motivating everybody. He's a wise man, and constantly supporting everyone. And and man, I think I'm truly in the best place I've ever been as far as my skill set goes, and mental, and my place in life. And it's thanks to the people I have around me, people I have surrounded myself with. So thank you so much for that. I appreciate the opportunity, bro.
Perfect. Well, Diego, thank you so much for stopping by, and all the best at Eternal 63.
Will do. I'll speak to you soon.